the decision by the National Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party to zone its presidential ticket in 2027 presidential election to southern Nigeria has continued to receive a lot of support in sections of the country. However, in the north, many vociferous groups have risen in opposition to the decision of the PDP to zone its presidential ticket to southern Nigeria, claiming that it was an unwise decision by the PDP, which they say has deliberately shut out northern candidates. And they say that that is not good enough and that PDP will pay a price for shutting out the northern aspirant or northern candidates to vie for the presidential ticket of the party. And these groups that are coming out to oppose the zoning of the presidency or the presidential ticket of the PDP to southern Nigeria include groups like Joint Action Committee of Northern Youth Associations, North Central Political Stakeholders, Arewa Youth Assembly, and a coalition of northern groups amongst others. Now, interestingly, this same group or groups did not see anything wrong when the APC zoned its presidential ticket to southern Nigeria in 2023. But they are uncomfortable that in 2027 PDP zoned its presidential ticket to southern Nigeria. Which now begs the question, what really do they want? Do they want a country in which there will be shared leadership, or they want a country in which there will be subservience that will be only kowtow to whatever the North needed or wanted? Because the truth of the matter remains that after 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, there is a need for power to move to southern Nigeria. And that was exactly what the APC rightly did, even with the opposition from the then former President Muhammadu Buhari. At least the governors at that time, led by Malam Nasir El-Rufai, was able to do the right thing by insisting that power should go to southern Nigeria, and they zoned their presidential ticket to southern Nigeria. That was the right thing to do in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society like Nigeria. Unfortunately, the PDP didn't follow the example of APC in 2023, and they have paid a huge price for that. And when you look at all these statements coming out from the north opposing the zoning to south, you discover that these people are largely people perhaps who are supporters of former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who out of frustration because of what he had done in the party to make it very difficult for him to emerge as presidential candidate, defected to the African Democratic Congress. But let us look at it as a nation that is working under the principle of equity, justice, and even the federal character. After 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, there is no doubt that power is supposed to go to the south. And the north themselves are the ones that have shaped our politics the way it is today because of zoning. Let me tell you why I say this. If you look at in 2018, 2011, what the North did. What the North did was they opposed Jonathan. There are certain elements in the North, including Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who opposed Jonathan contesting for president in 2011 because they say it is the turn of the North. They say it is the turn of the North. And why did they say that? It was because after 8 years of democratic governance under President Olusegun Obasanjo, power returned to the North in 2007, and Alhaji Umar Musa Yar'Adua from the Northwest, emerged the president of Nigeria under the platform of the PDP. He became president from 2007 to May 5 or so, 2010, when he died. And Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who was the vice president, became the president of Nigeria following his death. The election that came in later, 1 year later in 2011, the North, led by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, were protesting that zoning must be respected, and that because zoning must be respected, Jonathan should not contest the 2011 election. That a Northerner should emerge. By that time, it was convenient for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to talk about zoning and to talk about North. And all these groups, they were aligned to Atiku Abubakar and others in that perspective. Okay? What happened was that even the North themselves came together to say that power must return to North in 2011. They protested Jonathan graduating from completing the tenure of Alhaji Umar Musa Yar'Adua to becoming the incumbent president to contest the election on his own status as an individual. They protested it. To show you how serious they were, the Northerners gathered some of their best, most influential elites to vie to challenge Jonathan for that position. We are talking about people like General Ibrahim Babangida, former military president, who was a top-notch member of PDP at that time. You talk about people like General Ali Uguzo, former National Security Advisor, former Minister of Defense. He contested. He was among the Northerners who were challenging Jonathan. Others include Bukola Saraki, because Bukola Saraki had at that time was finishing as the governor of Kwara State. Adamu Chiruma said there was a committee set up by the Northern elites, headed by Alhaji Adamu Chiruma, to select from among the Northern big shots who are interested in the president, who will challenge Jonathan at the PDP primaries, so that they can be able to defeat him and contest for the presidency, in the mindset that it is the turn of the North based on zoning. However, Jonathan was able, with the support of Obasanjo and all that, something that destiny had put in their hand, the first time a minority from southern Nigeria is becoming president of Nigeria, and there was an opportunity to allow him to continue in 2011. It was then alleged that Obasanjo extracted a one-tenure agreement with Jonathan that he would only one term. That was how it happened, and he emerged. And in 2015, Atiku Abubakar led a revolt that Jonathan must not contest for second term. Because of that, Jonathan's contest for second term, there was a wave of defection from Northern politicians to the APC, which eventually won that election. At that time, it was convenient for the North to talk about zoning, that zoning was the right thing to do. Even though we know that zoning is right in the sense that in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society, it is the best thing if you truly care about building a united nation. The reason why zoning became problematic was because of the death of Yar'Adua. If Yar'Adua had lived throughout for his 8 years, perhaps there wouldn't have been any problem with the PDP in terms of his zoning arrangement and all that. But it also brought to the fore the hypocrisy of the Nigerian elite and leadership. What did I say this? The zoning arrangement, the 6 geopolitical zones you are seeing today was the creation of Dr. Alex Ekweme, former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. During the Constitutional Conference that was organized by Abacha, Alex Ekweme proposed the 6 geopolitical zones, and Alex Ekweme proposed 6 vice presidents, and that these 6 vice presidents will be elected at the same time while you have a sitting president. But the president will be elected, but he will have 6 vice presidents. Why was that necessary? This is because in case a president dies in office, in the constitutional proposal that was made by Dr. Alex Ekweme, in case a president dies in office, like Yar'Adua did, there wouldn't be any need to go for the vice president from another zone to emerge. The vice president from that zone will become the president automatically. In other words, imagine that Nigeria had on May 10 or thereabout, when either May 10 or May 5 that Yar'Adua died in 2010. Okay, when he died, if we had 6 vice presidents, the vice president from Northwest would have automatically taken his place. But because the Abacha government that constituted the Constitutional Conference, they didn't mean well for Nigeria anyway. You know, this was a military regime. They discarded that 6 vice presidents. Having a president and 6 vice presidents, they discarded it. But they now choose 6 geopolitical zones in many of the policies and programs of government. That today it has become the norm to talk about the 6 geopolitical zones. Okay, so that would have saved the country the problem of Yar'Adua that scattered, the death of Yar'Adua that shattered the zoning arrangement in the PDP. But that being said, PDP had already made up for that when, even in 2019, it was only the zone East presidential ticket to northern Nigeria. That time, Atiku Abubakar contested for the presidential ticket with other northern leaders. At that time, they didn't complain why the PDP zone zone East presidential ticket to northern Nigeria. They didn't complain that why is it that the south was shut out, they shut the door on southern Nigeria. It was convenient for them. So this protest, to me, is not being fair to people of southern Nigeria, that that zoning it to them is shutting the door against the north. But they shut the door before in 2019 when the PDP zone is presidential ticket to north and no southern contested. I think they are being clever by half in condemnation of PDP. While it is yet too early in the day to say whether anything positive will come out of the PDP zoning of the presidency to the south. I think it is unfair for the northern groups to be protesting that the presidency is being zoned to the south, and that has shut out northern politicians or northern region. It's not fair. I appreciate the Governor Bala Mohammed, who said that even himself, he had presidential ambition, but he has to sacrifice it because of this zoning arrangement. I think that should be the way they should look at it. At least there's a semblance of trying to make up for the mistakes of 2023, when the presidency ought to have been zoned to the south, but it was thrown open. And it's also a lesson for the African Democratic Congress, because African Democratic Congress is making a big mistake by not yet saying where the presidency of their party is going to come from. I don't know what to think about the protest by northern groups that the PDP had agreed to zone its presidential ticket in 2027 to southern Nigeria. But whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.